that heaviest band is going to include the city of Chicago, Rockford, and Madison. Milwaukee and Kankakee are going to be in the lighter area, and of course, just south of there, they're not going to get much of anything at all. It's a complete difference from what we've been seeing. A few clouds, 30 to 25 tonight.
3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the very first Tavern Brick podcast. And the surprise guest is Shy from Cali Brick Click. Shy time is my time. And it is an absolute honor to have Shy with us. It's actually pretty humbling because I've been following you, watching you, and here I am now sitting behind a microphone interviewing. I guess you're kind of an OG now.
Am I? I don't think I am.
I think so. I mean, you've been recording. I mean, how many episodes? You guys are like in the hundreds already.
Yeah. Wow.
You're OG.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like podcast is concerned, I think we're just a staple. I'll like if that makes more sense.
Okay.
More so than OG, because there are some OG podcasts that sadly aren't like around. Like we can name a few, but like one of the ones that really inspired like Cali Brick Click was Bricks and Pieces, which was M&R's, Brickatex, and Just Too Good podcast. Like they made it to 100 and they just stopped. And for a while on like the YouTube space, there really was like there was a few hit or misses out there, but no one really like stuck around. So I'll try to aim for that. If they would have still been around, those guys would be the OGs because they were doing it like 3 years before us.
Yeah.
So, but there's a few others, but sadly, they're not really pushing out as much. So I guess I'm my OG. Wow, that's humbling. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, you look back, like podcasting is itself. Like I was in podcasting in a whole different world.
Yeah,
totally different topics, and how much podcasting has evolved over the years is just insane. And to think about, the guilty pleasure of our passion for Lego. Like you have adults literally like look at us on a Friday night just sitting here talking about podcasting and Lego, and it's like this is a world that's unknown.
Yeah, for the general adult, yeah, I totally agree with you on that one.
It's like full nerd.
No, full nerd. Yeah, but I'm proud of it. Like I've never been ashamed of this nerdom.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't you kind of do a little deep dive history of who Shy is?
Ooh, like how far do we want to go back?
I mean, let's go back since we have a mutual brotherhood of the Marine Corps. Why don't we go back Marine Corps days?
Okay, well, look, let me just start before that then. I guess let's start the Lego story because that kind of it'll entangle into the Marine Corps thing. So, I started with Lego as a kid, as most AFOs out there, or at least I guess half now, because a lot of people just came out of nowhere. But I had Lego as a kid. It was something that I really worked towards getting. Like my dad really instilled it in me to like earn it. So I tried really hard to get as much Lego as I could. My first set was the Black Knight's Castle, and like that was like gifted to me as like a hand me down. So since then, I just been into Lego. And then like after like probably pre-teens, I kind of slowed down a little bit. So like late 90s, like high school was like in the 2000s, and like that's when I met my wife. Then just my girlfriend. So she saw my Lego. I wasn't ashamed of it, and then 9/11 hit. I remember that very vividly. And then I already knew I was going to join the military throughout this entire part of my life, just due to like family tradition. And then like when it was like Iraq invasion time, a lot of my friends went to they like went like obviously on deployment, and then like I wanted to go. So I had this like I wanted to be a fighter pilot. That's what I wanted to do. So my got to college, and then all my friends went to war, and I was like, I guess I want to go to war too. So I kind of delayed everything. But then I found out in boot camp that I didn't have 20/20 vision, so that went out the window being a pilot. So it is what it is. Joined the Marine Corps, and then like all my stuff just when I went to boot camp, I moved it like my mom and I were kind of homeless for a second, just not by like we didn't have any work or anything. We just kind of got kicked out of the house because like the people we were renting from, like they decided to change their ownership and they just kind of booted us out. So I was already leaving for the Marine Corps and my mom's gonna go somewhere else. So we just kind of couch surfed until I left. So I put all my stuff, like everything from high school and below, like Lego. I did a lot of like 40K Warhammer painting miniatures, but all my memories, like videos, like VHS, CDs, I guess, or anything, everything from high school to my birth was in that storage unit. And when I was in Iraq, this was back when we didn't have like automatic payments. You have to physically write a check.
Right.
So I left my mom like 12 checks. I'm like, here's 12 checks. Just send it every month, when it's time. And she did until like probably the last, maybe the 10th or 11th month. She just missed the payment, right? So she still made a payment, she just missed the payment. So she's delayed a month. So like I think when she was trying to figure out where I was gonna be, like coming home, she just missed it. And they were trying to call me instead of her.
And you're all the way across the world.
Yeah, and I'm on the other side. I'm on completely other side of the world. So they ended up just auctioning everything off. So that was all my Lego, my memories. I mean, Lego, I can care less. Like my Warhammer 40K, which was back then more expensive than the Lego, I can care less. What I really cared about was like my pictures, my memories, my yearbooks, my birth certificate, like really important things that I can't get back and purchase anywhere. So I lost all, and they also took my $10,000 violin, which doesn't come up on that. But like either way, I lost everything, and that was I don't want to see Lego ever again.
Oh no,
ever again. But every time I'd walk in the mall, you would walk by the Lego store, and this is back when there was only like 7 Lego stores in the entire United States. But like, I'd see the green grocer and I'd see the yearly modular, and then I thought nothing of it. Fast forward like 12 years later, I had my kids. And then I finally had, and this is like when my son was 2. I'm like, you know what? I think I can build a Lego set with my kid, thinking that my son can build the, assembly square. Like, well, come on. So I'm one of those AFOs that use their son as an excuse to buy Lego, when in reality, I'm the one that really wanted the Lego. And so I got Parisian Restaurant, Assembly Square on my first purchase back here in LA, and that was pretty much the rabbit hole. I just took a deep dive. I just started, after I finished building it, my wife, we loved it, put it on the shelf, like in the dining room, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. What else is out there? So I started getting all the modulars that I could purchase at the time, and then I realized that like there's way more that I missed and how expensive they can get. So I'll just like, and I was buying, and I was doing like the rookie moves, like buying it on Amazon and like eBay for a dumb amount of money.
Double.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, I didn't know what Bricklink was. Like, I didn't know, how to barter or like how to like negotiate that well, because I didn't really do a lot of secondhand buying. But I probably like maybe 4 modulars in of overpaying what I should have. Then I started getting smart about it. So I was able to obtain like every single modular up to a certain point. So I would say like maybe like 2 years, like a year and a half later, like I was able to get all of them except for Greengrocer and Greengrocer and Cafe Corner. Until one day I saw some guy sell both of them in the lot for like $600, and I'm like, buying it. I don't care buying it. And then that was pretty much it. That was the beginning of my Lego like city. And then that was around the time I started filming it. So I wasn't really serious about like Lego YouTube at all. Like I really just posted random things. Like if you were to go really back in my YouTube channel, I really didn't take it seriously until like 2021. Because in that time frame, like I was working a lot. I worked for Lego for like a split second, and that time frame you couldn't really do anything Lego wise on YouTube. So mainly it was just vlogging. And then when I left Lego, that's when I started taking it seriously. Started really focusing on what I should be doing as far as if I wanted it to grow. But by that time, I kind of established myself within the community just by like being there, not necessarily like making great videos or anything like that. So
I don't know if I'd say that. Like, you look back at a lot of your older videos on your channel, Like
Please don't.
No, it's actually, I mean, when you were heavy into doing a lot of Brickmania reviews,
Mhm.
like those videos, like for being new, like you kind of have a knack for it. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
it's like you have a nice camera. You obviously enjoy it. I know you love editing. You
Oh, I
talk
love
about it all
editing.
the time. Like you're like, I'll edit all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes certain people to, I guess, have that talent, creativity to edit videos and enjoy it.
Well, to rewind back to my Marine Corps days, like, so I always loved editing. I always thought I'd get into like film editing as like a teenager, and then I realized that I probably need a better job than that. So, back then I'd film, me and my friends would film music videos, like lip singing to like random bands, just to, for fun. And I didn't have a computer I mean, come on, it was like computer back in like the early 2000s, late 90s. So like the old school Apple Macintoshes, or, like where the internet was like 36K. It was really bad.
AOL.
But like, yeah, AOL, Instant Messenger, like those days. So like dial up internet. So I would record and edit through my like video camera, like very like hit record, pause, hit record, pause, hit record, pause on my like DVD like ripper. That's how I did it. And it was very archaic. And I shouldn't have done that, but it kind of like started a spark until I finally got a laptop when I was in the Marine Corps. And while I was in the Marine Corps, when I was in Iraq, that's when I started doing these like moto videos. You know what I mean? You come on, you're Marine, you know what's up. The moto videos were a thing. So I did this like monthly. So for my platoon in Iraq, we're artillery. So like when we went to Iraq, we were provisional infantry, which making artillerymen infantry is probably a bad idea. But like we probably destroyed more things than we did any good. But like every month I'd make like a video vlog, which would encompass like everything we do for the month. And I'd make like a 5-minute video of it, like using music and, really kind of honing in or just discovering my love for film and editing. So I'd make these like video vlogs. And then once I was done, show it to my platoon. They get all hyped. And then they would take, a copy of it and then they would do with whatever, which ultimately they just either sit on their computer, their iPods, or they would send it home. And then in Afghanistan, about 5 years later, I thought I would make because Afghanistan was a totally different experience. It was like it definitely felt like a war. It didn't feel like we were occupying anything. We were invading the Helmand province. So there's a lot of things that there was no communication with home. Where in Iraq, we'd go out into the world, cause havoc, come right back, call home. In the internet centers or the what they call them, computer centers, whatever. And what do you call them? Regardless. So in Afghanistan, there wasn't that. We were out in the field pretty much the entire time. I didn't have like a nice shower until like 4 months after the invasion. Like our bathing was the river. So we didn't have
stuck behind the Hexco barriers.
Yeah, we didn't have the luxury of being in a fob or in a big base. So I would film stuff and then like make this like huge video, and then obviously over time I'd just kind of just accumulate footage, and at the end of it, just because I knew a lot of people at home would be like, hey, how was it? What'd you do? All those types of questions. I just made a video for my entire battery to be like, just show them this video. And that was it. You don't have to say anything, just show them this video. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's rated R, but it's like PG-13. I didn't take anything from, that would be shocking to anybody watching it or, my brothers. So I wanted just to be, good times, motivating, like blowing stuff up, that type of thing. So I made a good moto video, and then that was like when I knew like I have a knack for this because everybody loved it. It was shared all over. Like anyone who knew us, like we got a lot of like praise because we're artillery now in Afghanistan. We were the first Marine battery to like take names in Helmand province or all of Afghanistan. So that was motivating, but it didn't really feel like anything to us until because we don't see much. Like we just and then whatever happens on the other end happens on the
Here's
other
the
end.
coordinates, and here you go.
Yep. And then like people like the Ford Observers and the Grunts and like people like myself who would like take all in the information on their actions and see what's actually happening. We're the ones that actually see it. But like we don't, like my communication with grunt units, with air or anyone we worked with, it's very like professional. There was no time for camaraderie because we really just saw each other and we went our separate ways. And then there wasn't no downtime for us. So it wasn't until we were back in like Leatherneck and Dwyer when we finally ran into the infantry units that we supported. And they would be like, hey, you guys like saved our lives on blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. We all those praises and like it started to hit. So those guys would take our motor videos, we take their motor videos. So it started to become like a little trading card thing. So now I have like just so all the units that we were supporting, they took our stuff and everybody really appreciated at least the ones that I created. You know what I mean? Because a different perspective for them. When you think of an infantryman's motor video, you see them kicking down doors, shooting stuff into a. It's very specific.
Yeah, throwing grenades and
grenades. Artillery, it's not like it's different. So you're just seeing these giant cannons go boom, 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 like all day, every day. And then you see what we do as like stupidness, as Marines do. And it just it's a breath of fresh air. And then they really like wanted me to do their videos, and I'm like, I don't have that type of time, man. We're about to go home. Maybe when we get back to like Pendleton or 29 Palms, we'll probably see each other and I'll work on it then. So that was like, oh snaps, I want to do this type of thing. And I always had a niche for making videos like randomly, like I'll film some, like my friends and I performing dance moves or like performances, like my wife's performance, like anything, any excuse to make a edited video, I'd make it. And then on YouTube, that was like a different medium, right? I'm still editing videos, but it wasn't like a presentation as more so it is today. Like I'm talking to a camera, getting comfortable speaking out loud, like making a story out of nothing. Before that, I was just editing what has already happened as far as what is intended to happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that took a while, like getting a voice and being able to be comfortable in front of a camera, using my hands properly, like really getting to like what I learned from like speech 101 in college. Like that's really when I started like really honing that down. And it took me a very long time to get really truly comfortable with, where I'm at today when I'm recording a video. So it's been pretty fun journey thus far, and I'm one of those who I'm totally comfortable speaking in front of a crowd. Like I have no problems with that. I've been like in front of a crowd since I was in high school, so or even younger than that. So I have no problem addressing total strangers, but it's not, I guess, charismatic as I am more today than I was back then, if that makes sense. So I don't know. That's where I'm at. So now making videos is fun. I love editing, and now I get to kind of share a story with whatever I talk about like a Lego brick that probably 2/3 of the world doesn't care about, but a lot of people do, and they're so happy to listen to what I have to say. So I'm really happy about it. But like that's where I'm at today. I'm happy with what it is, and yeah, I guess that's me and YouTube right now.
Yeah. So I guess my main question that I should have probably started back with is, how did Cali Brick Cali Brick Click, to be exact, how did that kind of develop and start? Because you guys as a group kind of, Claire is in San Francisco. You guys are from different parts, obviously all in California, but how did that all come together?
How do we all meet?
Yeah.
So as I stated earlier, like I've been a big fan of like Bricks and Bits, which is M&R Just to Get a Brickitect. And then they stopped, right? So there was really nothing out there that was like that. There were regular podcasts in Lego, but were in the traditional sense where it was just audio, not on YouTube. So you have to go to like Spotify, but there's just nothing on YouTube. And there was a few other ones like they were live. which were cool and all, but they weren't like as they are today with like A Cobb and a couple of Brickheads, Good Morning Brick World, or Subbuds. Not in that scale. Like it hasn't developed to that yet. There was just regular live streaming. So the podcast niche wasn't there, and I felt like there was like a gap. So there was something that like, so Brother from Another Brick and myself, we thought we would start a podcast to fill that void. But he kept flaking out, and I'm like, I still want to do this. So Ninja and I, we've known each other in this space because we've seen each other every now and then, in the chat talking, live streaming together with like other friends. That's mainly where that comfortability happened, was that just for a long time, like especially when COVID started, there was a lot of like just group chat live streams that you randomly find everywhere. So we already had a rapport. So that was that. And he, we kind of met in person a couple of times. So, there was a trust there. Claire popped out of nowhere. I remember M&R Ryan had another podcast that, it was live. It kind of faltered out, but she was in chat and she was talking a lot of smack. And everybody was like, who is this person? We didn't recognize the name because it was the Plastic Architect. So she just popped out of nowhere. And like, it wasn't like just random, comments. They were well articulated. There was definitely education behind her thoughts and views. So I was just like, this is interesting. So I clicked on her, channel. There wasn't really anything there. It was kind of empty. She posted maybe a video like a week or two later, but she, this is COVID time now. So she wanted to immerse herself in the community somehow. So, sometime down the line, as most people do when they come into the YouTube community or any digital space where, a lot of the trust comes from chat. So like we talk, and then, she pops up on a live. So now there's a visual, and like, we communicate in like we get that trust from, she's on someone else's live stream, I'm on someone else's live stream, but we have mutual friends, so now we're both on it. So after a minute of that, that's when I was like, you know what? This might be an interesting move. We're all three of us from California. Let's see if we can make this happen. So I let Ninja know he was down, and then we were trying to find a third. So we felt like we needed like more female representation because there wasn't much back then, like literally not even close. So I thought Claire would have been one. She's already awesome as far as like sharing her thoughts, what she, she's very strong about what she views, and she's a huge Lego fan. Like she's not new to the space. Like she's been a Lego fan like nonstop since she was a kid. So she knows her stuff. So we started Cali Brick Click to kind of like be a more mature way, like a more adult like way of thinking, as opposed to like previous podcasts that have been out there. So we just started that. We just said, screw it, let's just start recording. And the first 10 episodes was just us BSing about random things, like being in a Lego closet, like not being comfortable talking about, Lego to other people that are adults, like your coworkers or your friends. And then we started getting political for a little bit. And then we kind of, we went random ways. And then ultimately it came down to when we were really comfortable talking to each other, like as a three. And then we started bringing guests. And at first we just started bringing in people that we were friends with, obviously, because we have to kind of build something that people can trust, because it takes a minute for someone to trust being on someone else's channel. It's not easy. So I commend anybody out there who's trying to do it. And if anyone wants to like reach out to who, like the highest part, which would be TD Bricks at this point, you're not going to know unless you ask. So just ask. Worst case, you get a no or ignore.
Yeah, if you contact like Mr. Beast, you're probably going to get a no, but
hey, you never know. But you never know.
You can try.
You'll never know. And like, we started asking our friends, and before you know it, we kind of ran to a standstill where we're like, who else can we ask? Because we've already had like a bunch of our friends on like multiple times, and then and people that we've trusted. So now we're in the point where, all right, let's really focus in on people who are doing interesting things in the community. Let's talk about their content creation space, because that's an interesting point. Because by this time, there's already established, stapled kind of like podcasts. I still think they're podcasts, and they do a great job, but they're more live. So you have a couple of Brickheads, you have the Stub Buds, and you have the Good Morning Brick Worlds, where they're doing something special, like more like a show. And that started coming about. So then now we really have like and London Calling as well with London Brick Bricks. Like we have now an established group of shows. Oh, some assembly acquired, even though Rich hasn't done much for a bit, but like there's really a bunch of staples now of shows that are happening every day, and it's got to a point now where we're like, cool, we helped like push for staple shows throughout throughout the community, because there wasn't really much, and there's only a few. I mean, also Full of Brick, also another one. Well,
I was just watching tonight, Brick Building Biker, Brick Huntress was on there with Kevin and Easy Craftsman. I mean, this community has like expanded, and it's cool for me to jump into this because I was always watching streams, watching YouTube videos, and I obviously with the podcasting background, I'm like just sitting here watching. I'm like, well, why am I not doing this? Like I haven't done video. Like this is the first run. So, video is new to me, and YouTube's new to me because everything before was just over a phone call and recording a phone call. Now it's like you got to be on YouTube, you got to be on Instagram, you got to be on TikTok. And I mean, you don't have to be, but it helps.
Yeah, definitely. You have to keep up with these kids, man. Ultimately, like the next generation, they grew up on this. They know how to work this thing, and like if we don't adapt to it, if we don't put ourselves out there, then we're just gonna be fall by the wayside. And only our generation will listen to us and above. And for growth, you need the youth to be able to carry on with what you've envisioned to be you. You know what I mean? So but I'm happy that people are like for real. Like before we even started, there was like nothing. Like maybe one or two shows, but there were just a bunch of people just live streaming with no purpose. They're just, hanging out. There was no topic, there was no discussion, and there was so much to say. And now with the influx of adults at the time who were coming into it, because for a while there was only like you see the same 100 people like in the chat and randomly all over the place. But now they're just everywhere. And if you go to people's lives or if you go to people's comments, they're a phenomenal amount of people that are like you never even heard of them before that have now come into the digital space. And with Instagram now, TikTok, like Twitch, like there's so many of us who have now projected our love for Lego onto here. And no matter where it is, I'm here as in like the digital space.
Right.
So now if you were a new Lego fan or or a Lego fan who's just now found or now comfortable coming on to either YouTube or any of them, there's somewhere for you to find, as opposed to there is only these center hubs in random locations that you have to try to get someone's attention if you want to be heard or seen, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, and you kind of have to, like, when you're getting into content creating, like obviously you look at my background, this is 100% Shy inspired. So
you built that quick, so I'm not gonna lie. That was
like
fast.
We've been talking for a while, just like our Marine Corps brotherhood, and I kind of, I guess, gravitated towards you just because of the likeness and everything else.
Yeah.
And watching your YouTube videos and everything else, and all of a sudden I kind of seen your setup, and I had this studio was like an entire Lego city, and I was just like, I need room. I'm running out of room. Like, I started Lego when my kid was basically 3 years old, and now he's 9 years old. You can imagine how much we have now. Like our house is all Lego. My wife's into Lego. My daughter's into Lego. Like we are family Lego. Like we don't have room. So, and then now I have the studio, and it's like, I'm trying to like piece things together and put Lego everywhere. And like people come over, and like at first I was like kind of ashamed, like, or embarrassed, I guess, being a 35-year-old male. But then it's kind of like, well, this is our family. This is what we do. And people know we sell Lego, like I was telling you, we kind of have our store that we're starting up and everything. And it's like, no, this is who I am. This is who we are. So I have no shame, and kind of show it off. And then actually it's cool to see people's reaction that aren't into Lego that come over, and they're just like, wow, oh, this is cool, and they like
Yeah.
go down this wormhole, and then all of a sudden they walk out of our house buying a Lego set from us.
Yeah, well, you're an influencer. Good job, man.
I try. I don't know, but it's just cool to see, like, and then even people that you are friends with that come over and they're like, oh man, that's cool. Like, hey, can I get a Lego? I want to try this. And all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, they're like, man, you got me hooked. And it's just fun, when you can get somebody into Lego that like drives me.
Oh, yeah. Like you get friends who, they stumble on your account or they know you're a fan of it. Like I got coworkers. I got brothers in my motorcycle club, really intimidating looking guys into building Lego. It's like really funny.
Yeah,
Like,
you talk hardcore patch
Mhm.
bikers, and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
Shy, you
Well,
got
yeah,
any
what-
on Lego?
Yeah, exactly. But not only that, like my Marine Corps brothers that are out there too, like who found my Instagram account are like, what's going on here? And then they're like, hey, I just bought this set. I'm like, what? Or hey, are you gonna get this? I'm like, how do you know about this? Like, you're not supposed to know about this. This is like hardcore fandom knowledge, and you know it. Like, obviously, you've gone past that point where you're no longer just buying one set casually. Like you're like in it. Like you're listening to what the people say on Instagram, YouTube, or wherever you find your information, and like you're now sharing it with somebody who understands that this knowledge. So obviously you're way beyond the point of just buying Lego. Like you're a fan, you're hooked. So
They're like,
that's-
yeah, I'm an AFOL now. You're like, what?
Yep. When they call themselves that, I'm like, oh, whoops. So
Oh, one thing I want to cover for sure. You are assembling a huge army.
Yeah.
You are now an army builder.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously everybody can see your background of your Lego
Mhm.
city and your collection, and you're huge into Brickmania, but you're doing this massive Falcon Army. And if
Yep.
everybody goes onto Shy's YouTube, Shy Time is My Time, you will see his Falcon Army. And if you go to Brick World Chicago, you'll see it there. But this
Mhm.
thing is unreal. It's huge. Like,
It's not even all of it.
it's sick, man. That's a lot of minifig.
I know, I couldn't stop.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It started with just 10. And now it's almost at 2,000.
Oh my
You know what I mean?
and Blue Falcons are not cheap.
No, they're not. I mean, well, if you know where to get them, if you get them on Legos, Bricks and Pieces, all equipped, $4, right? So you can do the math. But like, a lot
But
of people
the
get them on.
horses, the dread.
Yeah, it just adds. But it's also accumulation of like 2 years, and like I give myself a budget that I'm allowed to spend every now and then, and a lot like, and that's why I'm not. Yeah, no, she knows. I can't hide it from her. But like, I used to be really heavy in buying a lot of Brickmania stuff or third-party Lego stuff, and I still am. But like, I kind of held back, obviously, to be able to afford the Black Falcon. So instead of buying a new tank, I just get another 100 Falcons. As you progress, you thought I'd stop at a 500 or 501. I thought I was gonna stop there. Now I was like, I'm already halfway to 1,000. Let me just keep going. And hit 1,000 and actually hit 1,100. I'm like, 2,000 not far away. It's just another 9,100 to go. So I'm on the way there, and I'm telling myself after 2,000, that is it, because ultimately I wouldn't have anywhere to display it. No, I take that back. I would have somewhere to display it, but I can't keep it there for that long. It'll just take me too long to set it up, and I just wouldn't want to do that. So 2,000 is where I'm going to stop. But it's it's gonna go. I've made this investment of having 2,000 minifigures. So what am I gonna do with it aside from displaying it at Brick World Chicago? I'm gonna make content out of it, and I think like having little, it's forcing me to build mocks. It's forcing me to be creative. It's forced me to dive deeper into storytelling. So as I thought this was just gonna be a little cool thing to display on a shelf or just to show off or enjoy just having an army of something.
Right.
Which is cool enough in itself, pretend like we're kids again, like like going to war with like little figurines. Now I actually have an army, like a real life-size army made out of minifigures. I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? So now bringing it back to content creation, I'm just gonna make stories out of it. I'm gonna make dioramas. You're gonna go to battle. It's gonna be cool, and that motivated me to continue with whatever I'm doing or evolve on the YouTube space with making videos and or establishing myself in the Lego side more so than just
Right.
the military side, because the military side there was a glass ceiling. Like there's only a small portion and it's a small niche of the overall Lego community. A lot of the people who are in their overall Lego side, they're a lot of them already biased against Brickmania because it's not truly Lego. They're priced out of it because it's just too expensive. They don't understand
Yeah.
the nostalgia behind it. So the fandom of it is kind of small, and ultimately, yeah, it'll be cool to like be bigger, like 100,000 subscribers or whatever. That's not what I'm aiming for, but like after a while, I kind of hit like a glass ceiling. Like, okay, how far can I go with this without having to really dive deep in my pockets to figure out, how am I sustain myself by getting $400 tanks, you know?
Yeah.
So I figured I need to, do less Brickmania stuff or military Lego stuff or third-party custom Lego stuff and just do some Lego stuff. So other people, that like, cause a lot of people started following me because of my friends on the YouTube space. So, but if like, let's say just use MSORS as an example. So if me and Emily do something on YouTube, people are gonna come to my space, but they're not really gonna resonate with a lot of stuff that I post because it's like military Lego stuff. So if I don't throw anything Lego wise, it's just like empty subscribers or they're gonna unsubscribe. You know what I mean? So I need to do some more Lego things if people are gonna come to my channel from my friends' stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I think that was a smarter strategy for me, and it's actually helped significantly in the past just year. Then I started doing that, and then it also kind of like made me really appreciate the Brickmania sets even more because for a while, just like BKM, Brick Veteran, BKM, like it was just like, whoa, I just spent a lot of money, and then in like a couple weeks, it's not cheap, and like the growth is just slow. And then I started posting Lego stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's a big difference here. So then I started fine tuning like what I want, and I'm still kind of lost as far as what I really am going to define myself as. But I'm finding faster growth within the Lego space because there's a larger audience, and Claire really promotes that and pushes that against me all the time. It's like you got to appeal to a larger audience. You know what I mean? Like you have to.
She's so smart.
Yeah,
Like
she's
she is like she has a mind like listening to her when she's talking on your guys' podcast. She really dives deep into like internal thoughts on things that you wouldn't even think of. You'd just be like, whoa, like where did she come up with this thought? But it like she processes it, gets like basically a game plan and is talking to. I love when you guys are interviewing people like that have like, I don't know, 100, even talking to like MSOR. She's like, yeah, but I knew this was going to happen when you did this. And it's like, holy crap. She's like, Claire's super smart.
Mm-hmm. And she knows what she's talking about. They really like the analytical part of YouTube is a fascination for her. So like she really likes to, her and Sans really likes to dive deep into what makes a channel successful. So just by looking at numerous channels that way, you can learn a lot. And I feel like a lot of people don't really do that. They just kind of post and hopefully learn from the mistakes. But if there's a lot to learn from everyone that posts something. So like there's reasoning to success, and there's a lot of luck too, but you could always make your chances better. So for me, doing less BKM stuff, not in completely getting away from it because I do love it, and like it's just something that I enjoy. I mean, Lego will never do military and will never satisfy that need that we have as far as like nostalgia. So I treating it like a dessert is way more satisfying than treating it as like a meal. So
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm. So whenever I open a Brickmania set or Brick Veteran or anything like that, I really do like enjoy the process of it. Which before I for a while I didn't. It was just like Lego I enjoyed, Brickmania stuff was work. That's what it felt like. And like Lego is still fun for me because I don't like film everything that I make. So I still have that, but now like I can take out an Amtrak out of my closet and like really just build it and not worry. I'm not worried about having to film it. So
Yeah.
And that's what I'm starting to really appreciate. And what I try to tell a lot of people, especially those who are trying to be content creators in the Lego space, like, look, do your best to like have moments where you're just building a Lego set for building a Lego set. Like, don't feel the need to record every single one of them that you bought, like that you purchased from the store.
Yeah.
You don't need
And
to
I
do
know I personally messaged you one night, and it was a night I was working on the studio and just trying to hammer this thing out.
Yeah.
And I was really pushing myself, and I was like, I feel burnt out. Like, not burnt out personally, but Lego burnt out. Like, I just hit a wall where I was like, I need a day or two. And I was trying to get so much done. Like, does that happen to you? Like, where you just like hit that wall of Lego burnout where you're just like, I need a day or two just to do nothing Lego?
Fortunate for me, I have another hobby with my motorcycles. Those are when those come in, but having 2 small children also doesn't help that. So they'll, even if I don't want to take a break, they'll make me take a break. And I think with all those avenues, I haven't really hit a wall where like I don't know what to do. Now, right now I hit a wall, but not because I'm like fatigued or I'm burnt out. I just have creator's block. So I
how do you get around that?
You have to make something that you truly want to make. So
not force something just to force it.
Yeah. Like I have a video that I'm working on that's not for me, like not for my channel. It's for Cali Brick Click that I really want to push out. And I feel like once that's done, and that's truly where my fire is right now, is just focusing on that. But because of that delay, because it's taken me a long time to do, only because it's really dependent upon a lot of other people, it's really halted my creativity on my channel. So if you notice, and at the time of this recording, I haven't really posted anything in the past 2 weeks. And I should have, because my last video did well. I could ride that momentum. And usually when your video does well, you want to ride the momentum. And I'm not. It's completely dead. Just because I don't know what to put on my channel right now to follow that video. And the video that I really want to do is not even on my channel. So, and I don't care. I want to work on that video.
Yeah.
So I feel like once that video is pushed through and the video that I am currently working on right now is done, I'll be able to move on to the videos that I want to do truly, like, you know, my castle for my Black Falcon Army, like another Brickmania video that I want to do, the city update, like those videos that I have in my queue that I can't really start right now for any reason due to like not having all the pieces, not having all the stuff that I want to do, or able to make the edit that I want to make. Like they're not there yet. So
okay,
I'm just kind of like, I just need to get through these 2 videos that I'm working on, and then I think I'll be able to get around that block. But essentially, it's just like finding another way of motivating yourself to, you know, get over the hump that you have, or find another creative outlet. Like get away, like stop focusing on it, you know, and just kind of, you either just post the video or scrap and start all over.
Well, you don't want to put something that's half-assed out there either. Like, you don't want to put like shit content out where that's like, I got to get a video out. Like me, like I'm going to focus, since like I'm totally new to this. And for like the listeners, the viewers, like, please bear with me. As you know, like you probably said the same thing when you first started this, you know, it's like, it's going to take time. I'm going to evolve. I'm not going to push myself. I want to do it right. And I want to learn along the way. And I want to gain respect, gain followers, and provide quality, not just like quantity is not always the best. Like the way I look at things, like I watch people's videos, and people that just hammer videos out every single day, they have the content, but they don't have the quality. And if they don't have quality, I don't want to watch it. Like I'm not interested. So I just kind of want to go down an easy path, not rush anything, and just do it right. Like it's kind of the Marine Corps mentality. Like do it right the first time. You know, like there's no second chance. Like do it right the first time and work along the way, and everything will fall into place.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. So
yeah. But with that, I mean, we're kind of coming down to the end here. I don't want to hold you up. I know you had a long week. You're tired. Appreciate your time. And
I'm like, I have a beer like waiting for me.
Yeah. Well, you could have cracked it open during this.
Oh, I mean, it's all good. It's all good.
But
I have my Invisalign in, so I can't figure it out yet.
But I do have to say, like, personally for me, I told you when I was starting doing this along the way, never want to step on any toes, like you guys have your thing going, with content creating. You never want to copy anybody. You want to do your own thing. You want to have your own style. I might have copied you with the.
I didn't. There's no copying here on YouTube on content creation. It's called inspired.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, honestly, like you inspired me because I had this huge city layout and I'm like, this takes up way too much room. In this way, the vertical city looks amazing.
You
like,
can see everything.
Yeah, it looks awesome. But being completely humble, like I respect you as a Marine brother and everything you did overseas. I mean, honestly, like I thank you. And I think for what you guys do on Cali Brick Click, inspiring me to do this. Everybody, Ninja, Claire, all your guests, you have awesome guests on. You guys have amazing content. By far, one of my favorite podcasts. I mean, I can't wait.
Woo.
Every Friday, I can't wait for that YouTube video to drop. But
I appreciate that, man. That right there, you have no idea how much that motivates us to keep going. Like,
you have no
idea. Like, we don't have a large audience there. Like, it's very small. Like, it's very small in comparison to like what we do, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. But for some reason, I get more praise on that than I do on my own channel. You know what I mean? Like in person, like in a face-to-face, by working AFOLs who are adults, who have mature, experienced lives. Like people that at conventions, like I don't even know who you are. Like, because you don't make yourself known, you don't comment, nothing. They'll stop you and they'll be like, hey, I just want to let you know I really love Cali Brick Click. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Who are you? And then that builds a rapport. But like that right there, although it doesn't get like the thousands of views, it means so much and it motivates us to continue doing it week after week and just kind of push through and find like the conversation in the community that's not being shared behind creators. That's really, I feel like, where it's come to be and evolved to be, and it took years to do that. It wasn't like an overnight thing.
I think this is better. Like this is why I enjoy, I mean, coming from a podcast background, but like I enjoy the conversation about the person behind the Lego than I do sitting watching somebody build a Lego set and doing a live stream. Like I used to watch it all the time, but I would rather listen to a podcast. Like I don't just listen to Lego podcasts. I listen to like different outside things. And that just hearing people's stories, backgrounds, like I guess I'm a documentary kind of person. So that's why I'm kind of intrigued with it. But I mean, honestly, you guys are killing it. You guys are rocking it. I can't wait till Chicago. It's going to be my first time going to Brick World and I'm like geeking out. I wish it could be tomorrow.
It's around the corner. It's almost here. Trust me, it'll be here tomorrow. You'll see it.
But for you, you got to fly across the country, bring your
stock kid.
I think I called it blue Falcon Army before.
Yeah, I'm like, oh they are technically
Black Falcon. So sorry, I messed up on that, but
it's cool.
You got to fly that thing across the country. Get all set up, I made sure I went all out. I told my wife, I'm like, okay, we're going to Brick World. We're doing this. Like, we got the early access passes, we got our badges, we got everything. I talked to you. I'm like, should I get the swag bag? Should I not get the swag bag?
The swag bag. Yes, you won't regret it. Like, just do this one thing that when you get there, like, don't be a recluse. Introduce yourself. Like, don't be intimidated by everybody. And I can't, like, at a place like Chicago, when you watch, and I saw it last year. There were a lot of people that just didn't say hi. And it's not like we're trying to be like rude or anything, but there are just so many people. We want to give you the attention. We want to have a conversation with you. Come say hi. So there's a lot of people out there that like if you have the opportunity and it's kind of quiet, especially if you're on the early pass day. Oh, yeah, the private days, that's your chance to like really like get a one-on-one conversation with not just like people you watch, but like other AFOLs who really enjoy the hobby. Because come public day, you're not really gonna have that opportunity because there's gonna be so many people. Like you're not gonna be able, like Saturday, Sunday, we're not gonna see each other. Honestly, you'll probably bump into each other like when you come to my table with my Falcon Army. They'll be like this, and then that's it. Bye, because you're gonna want to see everything else, or it's gonna be too claustrophobic for you. It's just too much, it's overwhelming, and you like a lot of our other friends who are not like displaying anything. They'll like have like a little thing on the side, so get to enjoy the festivities. Go do that. The private days, like that's really your time to hang out with like myself, hang out with like Claire, hang out with like Emily, Ryan, list goes on. Hang out with the ACOBs, hang out with Good Morning Brick World, like kind of I guess networking, but like really just hang out,
meeting the people behind the computer screen.
Like physically get to shake their hand and have a conversation, look them dead in the eye, as opposed to looking at a screen. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at you right now. I'm not really looking at the camera. But even if I'm looking at the camera, there's a barrier, right? We're across the world right now. But there's something really surreal about like meeting people here like this, and then meeting them for real in real life. It's like you're meeting them again, but you already know who they are. So, but it's a surreal feeling. It doesn't get old, and it makes it more like the barrier, like the awkwardness of a first introduction is gone completely, because like you don't need that. You already know each other, so you're talking, and then like just being around, and the best part is just being around a lot of people who have the same passion and love for what you do, and appreciates everything that you love so much about this hobby. That's be
yourself,
and you can be yourself.
Yep. Well, do you have anything you want to plug before we head out? I guess Cali Brick Click.
Cali Brick Click. Come find us on Cali Brick Click. You'll be able to find us anywhere you find your podcast, Spotify, Apple. I feel like I'm so used to saying that.
I listen to it on Audacity.
Yes, sir.
I mean, anywhere you can download a podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Soon YouTube Music. Whenever YouTube decides to do that, you can also follow my channel. Shy Time is my time, and on Instagram. Don't follow me on Twitch because I don't touch it, or Twitch, Twitter. So
well, Shy, I once again thank you, brother. I mean, it means the world to have you as my first interview.
Semper Fi, bro.
Semper Fi. I knew setting out doing this after watching you. I was like, I can do this. I can do this. I told you how nervous I was. I was like, man, I was thinking about it all day today. I was at work. I'm like, I have to interview Shy tonight.
Dude, it's just a conversation and you just hit record. That's all you're doing.
But hopefully, I mean, the quality gets better. I'm going to grow. I'm going to get better. I'm just learning. Thankfully, I know if I have any questions, I can always reach out to you. And I mean, I hope everybody enjoyed this for podcast number 1. There's going to be many, many more.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate being the first. That's an honor. Thank you.
So with that, until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the Tavern Brick podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Peace.